Support WrestleTalk!
Support each other. After beating both Becky Lynch and Bayley at Survivor Series, Shayna Baszler's reportedly planned mega push to the top of WWE's women's division was cut off quicker than you can say Cedric Alexander. She was next supposed to win the Women's Royal Rumble in January, but just 10 days beforehand, Vince McMahon changed it instead to the Omni Flare. Still, all was not lost. Shayna made it to the final two, and at Elimination Chamber, she ran through everyone to win a shot against Lynch at WrestleMania 36. Then she lost that match, was an afterthought in Money in the Bank, and has barely been seen since. It was reported at the time that McMahon had soured on Shayna as far back as February, but Heyman, who has since been removed from his executive director position, not a promising sign for Shayna's future, was still pushing for her to be a top star on Raw. But it wasn't just Heyman who wanted to put her over backstage. Lynch herself has revealed on the Bella's podcast that she pitched to lose the title at WrestleMania, which would have made Baszler champion, but, you know, plans change. It's a very worrying sign for Shayna's main roster future, as it seems even the head booker of Raw at the time and the division's top star wanting to put her over wasn't enough for Vince to give her a push. And now both Heyman and Lynch are gone indefinitely. Becky is currently out of action while pregnant, and Charlotte is also on a reported hiatus for the rest of the year. It's almost like building your women's division around only two wrestlers was a bad idea. Becky also revealed that she pitched a #1 contenders tournament where the winner would be revealed as the champion, which WWE ended up using for Money in the Bank instead. Surely the big meaty manly men are safe, and there just so happens to be one big meaty manly man in NXT UK that WWE apparently want to call up to the main roster. The only problem is, he doesn't want to go. Dave Meltzer is reporting on Wrestling Observer Radio that current NXT UK champion Walter is refusing to move to the States, despite WWE officials wanting him on Raw or SmackDown. Walter's reluctance to not live outside Europe has been known about since he signed, where he has his own training school and deep ties to the UK and German wrestling scenes. Perhaps WWE thought they could change his mind over time, but Walter is no selling their attempts. It's a chop, it's just not very effective on him. The UK independent scene and much of the wrestling industry was exposed by the SpeakingOut movement 2 weeks ago as a toxic place of systemic sexual abuse. Thankfully, according to Gary Cassidy of Sportskeeda, measures are being put into place already to safeguard the business, starting with the UK's Sexual Offences Act of 2003. As it currently stands, people aged 16 and 17, despite being of the legal age to give consent in the UK, cannot give consent to people in a position of trust. This currently applies to teachers in a school, but not sports coaches. Policymakers are looking to close this loophole, meaning it will now be illegal for wrestling coaches to date students under the age of 18. It's still newsomania right now in the wrestling world, so make WrestleTalk.com your homepage or click on the links in the video description below to read other stories we didn't get a chance to cover here, like WWE's SummerSlam plans with fans being delayed, a huge Kairi Sane update, and WWE and AEW getting into a trademark war all over again. Speaking of WWE versus AEW, definitely not a ratings war segue. Thanks for your support on Patreon, Wonderwall Brian Gallagher and the Kessel Run DX Solo. Last night saw both AEW and NXT start their own separate 2-night TV special events, Fyter Fest and Great American Bash. I know, what are the chances? But because I only have time to watch Dynamite on Thursday mornings, along with producing the rest of this video, before people start commenting late, where is my free content? I sadly can't watch NXT 2. But don't worry, we've got you covered, as Laurie and Adam will have a full podcast review of the Great American Bash Night 1 later today. So make sure to subscribe and enable notifications to always on to know when that's live first. And definitely don't forget to call us out for AEW buyers in the comments down below too. Thanks, Tony Khan. Thank you for all the money you send us. Oh. No. That's not Tony Khan. That's Mantor. Quick, onto our Fyter Fest special review of AEW Dynamite in about 5 minutes, which opened in fun Fyter Fest style with women in bikinis we can ironically objectify. Yeah, ironically objectify. But move aside, lady props, because nothing will be as eye-wateringly gorgeous as Chris Jericho's Canada Day jacket. Jericho, arguably the best color commentator working today, was out as an announcer for the show, which added an extra level of prestige to the special episode. MJF cut a great shoot-style promo ahead of the first match, calling out Luchasaurus for being green, and that's not just the color of his tongue, Jungle Boy for spending his recently passed father's money, and that this is all happening because there's a ratings war on. No, MJF, the Great American Bash happening for the exact same 2-week period as Fyter Fest is completely a coincidence. MJF and Wardlow then took on their babyface opposites Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, which isn't just built around the eternal feud between MJF and Jungle Boy, but the prehistoric Cajun rivalry between Luchasaurus and MJF. Every combination of the 4 guys was awesome. MJF versus Jungle Boy versus Wardlow, Luchasaurus versus Wardlow, MJF versus Luchasaurus. But the combination of MJF versus Wardlow was not so good when MJF accidentally hit his teammate with the diamond ring. This was a really fun opening match that didn't just set the pace for the night, but also for the future of the promotion for years to come. AEW then announced a puppy battle royal will take place next week with actual puppies. Surely it should be called a boneyard match. First one to bury the bone's the winner. Sorry, that was rough. Shida then defended her women's title against Penelope Ford, with Kip Sabian being sent to the back immediately. Being the heel he is though, Kip came back out behind Aubrey Edwards' back, leading to Ford getting some nice near falls, before Shida had to use an extra running knee to win after Penelope kicked out of the Falcon Arrow. This might have been match of the night. I don't really know what happened after that, as the wrestling was still really good, and I was always entertained, but I felt the second half of the show lacked that atmosphere of the first. It could be Jericho coming off commentary following a brilliant freak out at Orange Cassidy, having the gall to just sit near him, or that the TNT and tag title matches didn't meet my own high expectations. Not getting the main event spot, as was speculated, was Cody Rhodes defending his TNT title with all the pyro for his entrance against Rock Hard Jake Hager. Cody's matches always walk a fine line between perfectly and overbooked, and I feel this one slipped into the latter. Jake attacked Arn, Jake's wife slapped Cody, Dustin punched Jake, Cody pinned Hager while tapping out, and Jake knocked out the referee. Maybe it's simply this feud never really catching fire, and that Cody retaining was always predictable. Darby Allin then showed us his A-level media studies coursework, with admittedly a very impressive backflip onto a skateboard. Battle of the P's came next, with Private Party beating Proud and Powerful. This match again lacked atmosphere and emotion, which rather exposed the spot-by-spot work of Cassidy and Quen. Hopefully their very smart pairing with Matt Hardy will develop that. I'm not a fan of Santana and Ortiz losing, especially with Santana losing to Hardy last week too. They're an incredible tag team, but they found themselves lost in a very stacked division. They just walked off afterwards too. No heel angry shenanigans. That, with Sammy Guevara's suspension and Jake losing just before, is steadily devaluing the inner circle. Taz and Brian Cage, however, are incredible together. After Taz analysed Mox's paradigm shift in an earlier vignette, saying how it's not very effective against Cage, he cut a terrific in-ring promo after it was announced Mox vs Cage would take place in 2 weeks' time at Fight for the Fallen. I'm totally confident NXT won't then also announce Slamboree that same night. Taz said the only thing Mox has tested positive for is the chicken S-words. In a brilliant main event entrance, Trent's mum Sue gave him and Chucky T a lift to work. It was a great way to get over the best friends dynamic, subtly opposed to how Paige and Omega always enter separately. This was a really good match, but considering the months-long build, the talent in the ring, and the main event spot, I found my admittedly very high expectations a little unsatisfied. That might be totally on me though. Page won without Kenny's help with a buckshot lariat, and the champions were joined by FTR in celebration, who had been watching on from the stage. But the teetotal Kenny just poured his beer on the mat, which angered Dax and Cash, ending the show on a pull-apart brawl between them with the Bucks. That was this week's AEW Dynamite in about 5 minutes. Let me know what you thought of the show in the comments down below, because I'll be replying to people from out of Trent's mum's car. Can you make me cheese on toast when we get home, please? Thank you, Sue. I was really into the opening half of this episode, but not so much the second, and I don't know why. Maybe it was my own expectations, maybe it was not really being invested in the TNT title and private party matches. I still thought it was a very good episode, just not the TV pay-per-view quality I've come to expect from AEW. They're a victim of their own success. But still, this week's Dynamite is 4 out of 5. Watch Quizzlemania 13 from last night by clicking the video on the right, where we raised over £2,000 for the mental health charity Calm With All Your Help. Unfortunately, you can't watch it in some countries though, because WWE flagged us for copyright. And WWE have fired and suspended several roster members. Find out what's happened by clicking the video below that. Follow us on Twitter at WrestleTalk_TV and me at Ollie Davis. That was wrestling.